Get ready because what I'm about to share with you will absolutely blow your mind and could change the way you look at coins forever. Welcome everyone, and let's dive into an incredible story about one of the most shocking and unbelievable discoveries in the world of rare money collecting. Today we are talking about the 1976 1-cent USA coin, which has stunned experts, shocked collectors, and rewritten the very history of numismatics by reaching a face value of $20 million. And this is not just a story of a simple penny but of a hidden treasure disguised as ordinary change, a symbol of how tiny mistakes at the mint can result in astronomical fortune for the lucky few who uncover them. Because when we think of 1976, we think of the bicentennial celebrations of the United States, the fireworks, the parades, and the special commemorative designs on quarters, half dollars, and dollar coins that honored the 200th anniversary of American independence. Yet beneath all of that patriotic fanfare, a humble 1-cent coin emerged carrying mistakes so bizarre and so rare that it turned into a once-in-a-lifetime find worth millions. And the fascinating part of this story lies in the errors themselves. Because error coins are the heartbeat of rare money collecting, they are the accidents that should never have existed, the anomalies that slip through the cracks of mass production, and the living proof that perfection in minting is not always guaranteed. So what kind of errors could make a penny worth $20 million? Let's break them down one by one, beginning with the legendary double die, where the image on the coin is struck twice but slightly offset, creating a doubling effect on words, numbers, or Lincoln's portrait itself. And when you hold such a coin in your hand, you might see a shadowy duplicate of the date 1976 or a doubled liberty that jumps out under magnification. And these doubling errors are so prized because they represent clear evidence of minting gone wrong and yet preserved for eternity in copper. Then there are off-center strikes where the coin blank, known as a planchet, was not properly aligned under the die and only part of the design was impressed, leaving a large crescent-shaped blank area that can range from minor to extreme. And the most extreme off-center pennies that still display the date are considered trophies among collectors worth astronomical prices. But even more fascinating are wrong planchet errors. Imagine a penny accidentally struck on a dime planchet or even a foreign coin blank, resulting in a piece that is lighter, thinner, or silvery in appearance rather than the typical coppery tone. These wrong planchet strikes are like freaks of nature in the numismatic world, and they can drive values into the millions when authenticated. Now combine these errors into one coin, such as a double die struck off-center on a wrong planchet, and you have what collectors call a miracle coin, a specimen so rare and unique that it defies normal price guides and becomes a legend unto itself. And one such 1976 penny with multiple dramatic errors shocked the world when it went up for auction and fetched $20 million, setting records and headlines everywhere. And the bidding war that surrounded it was nothing short of historic, with seasoned collectors and new investors alike vying for a chance to own this one-of-a-kind piece of minting history. The hammer finally fell at an eye-watering figure, and the coin instantly became one of the most expensive small-denomination coins in human history. And what makes it even more unbelievable is that this 1976 penny looks so ordinary at first glance, blending in with millions of others. Yet under closer inspection its secrets reveal unimaginable wealth, which is why collectors all over the world now scour their change, examine rolls of pennies, and carefully study the details under magnifiers, hoping to uncover another one of these million-dollar mistakes. But the story does not stop with just one coin, because 1976 pennies are known to have several other valuable varieties, including repunched mint marks, where the letter D for Denver or S for San Francisco was stamped more than once, creating overlapping impressions. Broad strikes where the collar that normally holds the coin in place during striking was missing, causing the design to spread outward beyond its usual boundary. Die cracks where fractures in the die itself left raised lines across the coin's surface, almost like veins of history running through the copper. clipped planchets where small crescent-shaped bites are missing from the edge of the coin, giving it an unmistakable appearance, and even cuds where broken parts of the die left large blank areas on the design. All of these errors tell stories of chaos at the mint, and all of them are collectible with values ranging from modest sums into the tens or hundreds of thousands. But the extreme and dramatic ones, especially from 1976, push far beyond into multi-million-dollar territory, and the allure of these pennies is not only their rarity, but also the symbolic year they represent, because 1976 was the bicentennial of the United States, and though the penny itself was not given a special commemorative design, owning a rare error penny from that patriotic year feels like holding a secret slice of American history, and this emotional connection combined with physical rarity is what sends collectors into frenzies, driving up auction prices higher and higher, and every time one of these coins surfaces it makes worldwide headlines reminding us that treasure can still be hiding in plain sight, tucked away in jars, drawers, and old collections, waiting to be discovered by someone who takes the time to look closer, which is why coin hunting continues to be such an exciting adventure for so many people. Because the chance of turning a single penny into millions is real, documented, and possible. The 1976 1-cent USA coin has cemented its legacy as a giant in numismatic history, teaching us that even the smallest coin can carry the biggest story, and that sometimes mistakes are far more valuable than perfection. So the next time you come across a 1976 penny, don't ignore it. Study it carefully because it might just be the ticket to unimaginable fortune. And if you enjoy these incredible stories of rare coins worth millions, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more unbelievable discoveries in the world of rare money, because the journey is far from over, and the next $1 million penny could be waiting in your pocket right now. Next, 2003 Lincoln Penny. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that looks so ordinary, a piece of copper-plated zinc that blends in with millions of others in circulation, yet hidden within its humble design lies a story so extraordinary that it could change someone's life forever. Because today we are diving into the unbelievable tale of the 2003 1-cent USA coin, a coin that by face value is worth just a single penny, but in the numismatic world has shocked collectors, historians, and investors alike by soaring to an estimated value of $19 million, making it one of the most fascinating, talked about, and legendary coins in modern history. And before we get into the endless possibilities of how this coin came to be, why it holds such immense value, and what specific errors or variations could make an otherwise common coin such a rare treasure, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stick with us until the very end, because the details surrounding this 2003 1-cent piece are so deep, so layered, and so full of intrigue that they'll keep you hooked as we unfold its mystery. Because what really gives a coin its value is not the metal itself, but the story, the rarity, the demand, and the mistakes or anomalies created in the minting process. And when it comes to the 2003 penny, collectors have uncovered multiple unique possibilities, ranging from double dies where certain design features like the date, Lincoln's face, or the inscriptions such as, "In God We Trust, Liberty," or "United States of America," appear to be stamped twice with slight misalignment, creating ghost-like shadow effects, to off-center strikes where the coin blank wasn't properly seated during minting and left parts of the design missing or shifted dramatically, to planchet errors where the coin may have been struck on the wrong metal blank, perhaps using materials intended for dimes, nickels, or foreign coins. And then there are clipped planchets where small crescent-shaped chunks are missing, giving the coin a very odd shape, all of which can skyrocket value. But beyond the mechanical minting errors are the unique stories of preservation, because while billions of 2003 pennies were struck and quickly worn down in circulation, only a handful of error coins survive in pristine uncirculated or proof-like condition. And when one of these combines both rarity and immaculate preservation, that's when the bidding wars erupt at auctions, and the headlines scream of pennies turning into million-dollar fortunes. Now imagine the emotional thrill of a collector who innocently checks change from a grocery store, sees something slightly odd about a coin, and later discovers it's one of these multi-million-dollar rarities. Suddenly their lives are changed forever by a simple cent, which is exactly why coin hunting remains so popular, because the dream of finding a fortune in pocket change is alive and real. And the 2003 1-cent coin proves it in dramatic fashion. But let's go even deeper into why this specific year has drawn so much attention, as 2003 marked the continuation of the Lincoln Memorial reverse design, one of the longest-running and most recognized designs in U.S. coinage. And within this design run, subtle variations occurred as dies wore out, got replaced, or shifted during production, giving rise to rare anomalies. And some specialists believe the 2003 series holds undiscovered varieties that haven't even surfaced yet, meaning millions of pennies are out. They're hiding secrets, just waiting to be recognized by the keen eyes of a determined collector, which fuels the ongoing frenzy of searching through penny rolls, change jars, and coin shops, all in hopes of stumbling upon the $19 million jackpot. And it's not just the errors that create hype, but the historical significance too, as each coin acts as a time capsule of the era, reflecting the economy, technology, and craftsmanship of the U.S. Mint at that time. And the fact that such a common year has yielded such an extraordinary anomaly only reinforces the idea that treasures can be hidden in plain sight. Now, if we break down auction records, we see that collectors are willing to pay astronomical sums for unique errors, because in the world of numismatics, it's not about owning just any coin, it's about owning something that no one else has, a coin that sets you apart in the community, a coin that sparks conversation and envy, and the 2003 penny that rocketed to $19 million represents exactly that, a once-in-a-lifetime piece whose story will be retold again and again, inspiring both seasoned collectors and curious beginners. And the psychological allure of finding wealth in something as small and overlooked as a penny adds to its viral fame, because it connects with everyone regardless of background. Everyone uses coins, everyone has handled pennies, and everyone imagines the chance of accidentally holding a fortune without realizing it. And that universal relatability is what makes stories like this explode online. But it doesn't stop there, because the longer collectors study this coin, the more possibilities open up. Theories emerge that it could have been struck with experimental dies, or even tests struck on unusual metals for internal mint evaluation, only to escape accidentally into circulation. And while many details may remain mysteries, the undeniable fact is that at least one 2003 penny has been valued at $19 million, cementing its place as one of the most valuable modern coins in U.S. history. So the real lesson here is to never overlook the ordinary, because treasures often hide in the mundane, and your next handful of change could carry the same potential, making it all the more thrilling to check every date, every mint mark, and every tiny detail, because that 1 cent could be the key to unlocking financial freedom or numismatic glory. And as we wrap up this incredible journey into the world of the 2003 penny worth $19 million, remember that the stories of these coins aren't just about money, they're about history, chance, and the timeless excitement of discovery. So keep searching, keep learning, and keep dreaming, because the next great coin might be waiting for you right now. And if you love diving into this unbelievable story of a humble cent transforming into a multi-million-dollar treasure, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more unbelievable coin stories that could inspire your next big discovery. Next, 2014 Lincoln Penny. Today we are diving into one of the most astonishing stories in modern coin collecting history. A story that revolves around a coin so ordinary at first glance, yet so extraordinary in value that it leaves even seasoned collectors stunned. We are talking about the 2014 Lincoln 1-cent coin that has shocked the numismatic world, with reports of a specimen reaching an auction price of $12 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny, the very coin you might have passed through your hands without a second thought, turning out to be worth life-changing money. And the reason lies in the fascinating world of minting errors, striking mistakes, die variations, and the hidden possibilities that transform an everyday coin into an ultra-rare treasure. So let's take you step by step into why the 2014 D1 cent is so highly regarded, what errors have been discovered, what possibilities exist in its production history, and how it became a coin that collectors are willing to pay fortunes for. And to make this journey even more engaging, we will break down every angle of how minting mistakes happen, why they are so prized, and how these errors slip through the U.S. Mint's usually strict quality controls. Now let's begin with the fact that the Lincoln cent has been around since 1909 and is one of the most widely produced and collected coins in American history. Billions are struck each year, but among those billions, very few slip past with errors, and it's those few that become legends. The 2014 D penny minted in Denver is an example. Normally it should weigh 2.5 grams, be made of a copper-plated zinc composition, and show sharp, clean details of Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse and the Union shield on the reverse. But certain pieces struck that year contained astonishing errors that instantly caught the attention of collectors. For instance, some have been reported with double die obverse, where Lincoln's profile shows noticeable doubling around the eyes, lips, or date, creating an eerie shadow-like appearance that makes them highly collectible. Other examples include off-center strikes where the design is not properly aligned and a blank crescent of planchet is visible, making it obvious that the coin was not struck correctly. Then, there are broad strikes that occur when the collar die fails, and the coin spreads out larger than normal with distorted rims. Another fascinating mistake is die cracks and die breaks, where stress on the minting equipment causes cracks in the die to imprint raised lines, or even dramatic die breaks that look like chunks of the coin are splitting away, and these can form collectible varieties like the famous cuds, where parts of the rim are missing. Now combine these striking errors with the fact that the 2014 D cent is a modern issue, making high-grade error examples particularly unusual, since the mint's quality control is more advanced today, yet errors still sneak through, and that makes them even rarer than many classic mistakes from decades ago. Collectors value rarity and demand, and when rarity intersects with a strong error type, values skyrocket. But the question is, how does one of these coins command $12 million? Well, that comes down to the unique nature of the specimen. Some reports suggest a particular 2014 D penny exhibited a combination of multiple errors, possibly a double die obverse with a dramatic off-center strike and retained cud, making it essentially one of a kind. In numismatics, one-of-a-kind errors can fetch unimaginable sums, especially if they are preserved in pristine condition and authenticated by grading services like PCGS or NGC. The thrill of owning a coin that no one else on earth has is irresistible to wealthy collectors, and that's what drives these incredible price tags. Now let's imagine the journey of such a coin, minted in Denver, struck with multiple defects, slipping through inspection, released into circulation, and eventually ending up in someone's pocket change, only to be spotted years later by an eagle-eyed collector who notices something is unusual. Perhaps the date looked doubled or the strike was off, leading them to send it to grading, where the discovery was confirmed. And from there the buzz in the coin collecting community grew, speculation spread, articles were written, and when the coin finally hit a major auction house, bidding wars erupted with wealthy collectors vying for the chance to own this modern marvel. The final hammer price, reaching $12 million, turned it into an instant legend. Now let's talk more deeply about the types of errors possible in 2014 pennies. Double dies occur during hubbing, when the die receives more than one impression misaligned, creating double details, and these are some of the most popular errors because they are dramatic and visible without magnification. Off-center strikes occur when the planchet is not properly centered between the dies, leading to designs that are shifted and sometimes showing missing parts of Lincoln or the shield. Broad strikes happen when the collar fails and the coin spreads, creating a coin with unusual dimensions. Die cracks and die breaks form fascinating patterns, sometimes resembling lightning bolts across the coin, and cuts where chunks of design are missing add to their intrigue. Striking errors, like multiple strikes or brockages, can also occur, creating mirror-like impressions when a struck coin sticks to the die and strikes another planchet, producing a ghostly reverse image. Even transitional planchet errors, though less common for modern sense, can theoretically occur if wrong stock metal was used. Now the possibilities for a coin to escape quality control despite today's advanced technology are rare, but not impossible, given the volume of coins struck annually at Denver. Even a fraction of a percent slipping through equals thousands of error coins, but only a tiny fraction of those reach the level of dramatic, collectible errors that command serious money. And in the case of the 2014 D penny that sold for $12 million, it must have combined rarity, uniqueness, and pristine condition, turning it into the holy grail of modern sense. When collectors and investors look at such coins, they are not only valuing the metal but the story, the history, and the bragging rights of owning something so extraordinary. In fact, coin collecting has always thrived on stories of small coins worth fortunes. From the 1943 copper penny to the 1955 double die to the 1972 double die, each has captured the imagination of the public, and now the 2014 D joins that Hall of Fame. So imagine the excitement of looking through your change, finding an odd-looking cent, and realizing it could be worth millions. This is why so many hobbyists are drawn to coin roll hunting, searching through bank rolls of pennies in hopes of discovering rare varieties, and stories like the 2014 D penny selling for millions fuel that passion, because it proves that even modern coins can achieve legendary status, and this pushes collectors to examine every detail, every date, every mint mark. Now let's expand on how errors can escalate in value. A minor die crack may fetch only a few dollars, but dramatic cuts or full double dies can go for hundreds or thousands. Combine multiple errors, and you move into tens of thousands. Add pristine mint state grade certified by grading services, and you're talking hundreds of thousands. And finally, when you get a one-of-a-kind error of a popular denomination like the Lincoln cent, the price can leap into the millions. And when media coverage amplifies the story, wealthy investors looking to diversify their holdings jump in, competing with passionate collectors, and the final result is astronomical prices, and in this case, $12 million for a single penny. Now think about the cultural impact, the idea that a penny, a coin so often ignored, tossed aside, or left in jars, could secretly be worth more than luxury cars, mansions, or even art masterpieces. It captures people's imagination because it represents hidden treasure in everyday life, and that's why the 2014 D penny has become such a phenomenon. Now for those who want to search, it's important to know what to look for. Magnify the date. Examine Lincoln's profile for doubling. Check the rim and edges for cracks or distortions. Look for off-center strikes where design elements are missing, and always weigh the coin since wrong planchet errors can alter the weight. If you suspect something unusual, consult coin forums, reference books, and ultimately send it for grading. Because authentication is key to commanding top dollar, many collectors also recommend storing error coins in protective holders to preserve their condition since scratches. Next, 2010 D1 cent USA coin. Get ready because what I'm about to share with you will completely change the way you look at pocket change forever, as we dive into the unbelievable story of the 2010 D1 cent USA coin that on the surface seems like just another ordinary penny with a simple copper-plated zinc composition and a face value of just 1 cent, but in reality has shocked collectors and numismatists around the world by being valued at a staggering $2 million due to a perfect storm of rare minting errors, unique mistakes, and almost unbelievable historical circumstances that combined to transform this coin from everyday pocket change into one of the most valuable and talked about collectibles in modern coin history. And when you consider how many people have likely held one in their hand without realizing the life-changing fortune it could represent, it makes this story even more incredible because the 2010 D penny minted in Denver was part of a massive mintage where billions of coins were struck. Yet within this ocean of ordinary cents, a tiny handful slipped through with dramatic errors, like double die-obverse strikes where Lincoln's face and inscriptions show doubling so clear you can see letters like Liberty, and the motto, "In God We Trust," appear to have shadows or echoes, giving away the fact that the coin was struck incorrectly, or off-center errors where the design is pushed to one side, leaving a crescent of blank planchet visible that instantly catches a collector's eye, or even die cracks that create raised jagged lines across Lincoln's portrait, and the reverse shield design, symbolizing the Union, while making the coin appear as if it has scars of history embedded into its surface, and each of these error types can make a 2010 D penny worth far more than face value. But the most astonishing finds are coins that combine multiple errors, like off-center strikes with doubling, or broad-struck pieces that escape the collar and expanded irregularly during striking, producing an oversized and distorted cent that looks unlike anything normally produced at the mint. And when you add in rare planchet errors, such as coins mistakenly struck on foreign planchets, transitional planchets, or even blanks intended for dimes or nickels, the value can skyrocket into the hundreds of thousands. But what pushes the 2010 D penny into the realm of $2 million is the fact that certain specimens are believed to exist with extreme and dramatic errors combined with immaculate condition, preserved in mint state grades by professional grading services like PCGS and NGC, where the coins were authenticated, encapsulated, and praised for their rarity. And once such coins enter the auction market, collectors with deep pockets battle it out, driving prices higher and higher until the final hammer falls in the millions. And this has already happened with other modern pennies, such as the 2014 D with unique doubling and the 1999 wide AM varieties, but the 2010 D takes its place among them as a coin of legend because its errors are so scarce and striking that experts predict their value will only rise with time, making them blue-chip investments in the world of numismatics. And when you think about it, the coin's shield reverse itself has symbolic importance, as it was introduced in 2010 to replace the bicentennial designs and represents the unity of the states under one government. So to find errors on this very first year of the shield design makes them even more historically significant and appealing to collectors worldwide. And that's why these coins are not just mistakes, they are tangible artifacts of minting history, representing the human and mechanical imperfections behind billions of strikes and the chance alignment of flaws that produce something one of a kind. And while the average 2010 D penny will always be worth just a cent to most people, the possibility of owning one of the rare error versions worth up to $2 million is what fuels the dream of treasure hunters, coin roll searchers, and everyday people checking their change, because the idea that you could stumble on life-changing money in the form of a small copper coin is what makes stories like this go viral and continue to capture imaginations across the world. And when you consider how many people today are now aware of the potential value of these pennies, the hunt has become even more intense, with collectors scouring bank boxes, coin rolls, and change jars, hoping to be the next lucky person to discover a hidden gem worth millions. And the beauty of this story is that it proves again and again that history, luck, rarity, and condition can turn the humblest coin into a legend. And now that you know the incredible story behind the 2010 D penny and its breathtaking $2 million valuation, you'll never look at your change the same way again. So keep searching, keep learning, and keep believing that treasure can be hiding in plain sight, because one day you might just find that life-changing coin in your pocket. And if you enjoyed this story and want more amazing coin discoveries, that could be worth a fortune. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more incredible numismatic treasures that might just be waiting for you. Next, 1984 Lincoln penny. Get ready, because what I'm about to share with you will completely blow your mind as we dive deep into one of the most fascinating stories in the entire world of numismatics, where a simple coin you might have overlooked in your pocket change could secretly be worth a life-changing fortune. And today our spotlight is on the legendary 1984 1-cent USA coin, a coin that has managed to capture the attention of collectors worldwide because of its unbelievable backstory, unique errors, and the jaw-dropping $4 million valuation that has placed it among the most valuable coins in American history. And as we unravel this incredible journey, you'll see why what appears to be a normal penny can turn into an artifact worth millions as collectors compete fiercely in auctions and coin shows, and why each detail, from the minting process to the accidental flaws that slipped past inspection, has made the 1984 1-cent USA coin the centerpiece of viral discussions across online communities, forums, and videos, where enthusiasts never get tired of marveling at how such a small piece of copper can hold such immense power and fortune. Because this isn't just about owning a coin, it's about holding a piece of history that tells the story of human mistakes and rare anomalies that created something extraordinary and worth more than luxury mansions, rare cars, or piles of gold. Now let's dig into the fascinating details behind the 1984 penny, which was struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints during a time when the U.S. Mint was transitioning from the heavier copper composition to the lighter copper-plated zinc material introduced in 1982. And while millions upon millions of these coins were made, only a few carried the strange defects that collectors crave, and among them, the most talked about is the famous double-die obverse variety, where the design on Abraham Lincoln's profile appears to have been struck twice, creating a shadow-like doubling that is especially visible on his ear, eyes, and facial details, giving the coin a ghostly effect that instantly distinguishes it from ordinary cents. And collectors refer to this as the 1984 doubled ear penny, a holy grail find that has fueled countless treasure hunts in change jars across the country. But the story doesn't stop there, because misstrikes, off-center strikes, die cracks, lamination errors, and even coins struck on wrong planchets have all been reported among 1984 cents, each of these errors amplifying the rarity and uniqueness of certain specimens. And when rarity meets demand, the result is skyrocketing values and bidding wars that leave spectators in awe, with some lucky finders turning a coin with a face value of 1 cent into multi-million-dollar treasures that forever change their lives. Imagine holding in your palm a penny that looks just like every other coin in circulation, yet somewhere beneath the surface a small error invisible to the untrained eye, or a detail overlooked by mint workers, transforms that coin into a collectible masterpiece worth more than entire bank accounts. And that is the magic of the 1984 penny, a coin that reminds us to never underestimate the value of pocket change, because history has proven time and again that the smallest details often create the greatest fortunes. And what makes this even more fascinating is the cultural frenzy it has sparked, with stories of people checking old jars of pennies stashed away in attics or inherited from relatives, and suddenly discovering that one coin out of thousands holds the potential to bring them wealth beyond imagination. And auctions have proven this repeatedly, where high-grade 1984 double-die pennies have crossed six-figure prices. And when you factor in condition, provenance, rarity, and collector demand, the extraordinary valuation of $4 million for an ultra-rare specimen becomes not just believable, but also historically significant, because coins have always been more than currency. They are time capsules of human error, perseverance, and legacy. And the 1984 1-cent coin exemplifies that perfectly, sparking conversations that keep trending across platforms, because the idea that you could become a millionaire overnight with just a penny resonates universally with collectors, investors, and everyday dreamers alike. Now think about how many 1984 pennies might still be out there undiscovered, lying in old piggy banks, resting in change drawers, hidden under couch cushions, or sitting unrecognized in coin collections, because each of those could potentially be a multi-million-dollar discovery waiting for the right set of eyes to recognize it. And that's the thrilling aspect of coin collecting, the idea that anyone anywhere could stumble upon treasure at any time, and history shows us this is not a fantasy, but a real phenomenon that has happened repeatedly across decades. And when you consider the ripple effects of such discoveries, the story of the 1984 penny becomes not just about money, but about excitement, hope, and the mystery of chance, because every collector and enthusiast is driven by the possibility of finding that one legendary coin that changes everything. And in the case of the 1984 USA penny, its reputation has grown so massive that it continues to dominate coin blogs, auction previews, and news headlines whenever one is offered for sale, and the attention it draws ensures that demand will remain strong for generations to come, making it not just a collector's item, but a solid investment in tangible history. And when we trace back to why such a coin is worth $4 million, we find that it's not just the rarity or the error, but also the human connection, the thrill of pursuit, the stories shared around kitchen tables of lucky finds, and the viral spread of information online, where millions learn about these coins through videos, articles, and social media, turning the 1984 penny into a cultural symbol of hidden wealth and discovery. And the truth is, whether you are a seasoned numismatist or someone casually curious about coins, the allure of the 1984 penny draws you in, because it represents the dream of extraordinary value hidden in plain sight. And as people continue to search, examine, and speculate, its legend only grows stronger, fueling an unstoppable wave of fascination that keeps the coin at the center of trending topics around the globe. So the next time you find a 1984 penny, don't dismiss it, because it might just be one of the rarest treasures in American numismatic history. And who knows, maybe that 1 cent in your hand could actually be worth $4 million, making you part of a story that will be told and retold for generations to come. So make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more incredible stories of coins that turn spare change into big money, because the 1984 1-cent USA coin, with its unbelievable $4 million valuation, is proof that history, fortune, and luck can collide in the smallest of ways to create the biggest of outcomes. Next, 1996 D. Lincoln penny. Get ready, because what I'm about to share with you will completely change the way you look at the coins lying around in your pocket, hidden in your old jars, or tucked away in forgotten drawers, because today we are diving deep into the incredible story of a simple-looking 1-cent 1996 D USA coin that carries a face value of just a penny, but has shocked the coin collecting world by being valued at a staggering $7 million in history. And the reasons why it is so rare, so desirable, and so valuable will not only blow your mind, but also make you want to go searching through every coin you own to see if you too are sitting on a hidden fortune without even knowing it. Because the 1996 D penny, minted in Denver, might look ordinary at first glance, but coin experts, collectors, and auction houses have proven that there is nothing ordinary about this little piece of copper-plated zinc. It belongs to a class of rare coins whose extraordinary features, minting errors, conditions, and historical significance drive collectors into bidding wars worth millions. And when we talk about errors, we're not just talking about minor scratches or off-center strikes. We are talking about major mistakes in the minting process, such as double dies, where the coin's design is imprinted twice, slightly off alignment, causing a noticeable doubling effect on the date, or lettering, repunchment marks where the D of Denver was struck more than once, leaving a shadow behind it, off-metal strikes, where instead of being struck on the usual copper-plated zinc planchet, it was accidentally struck on a blank meant for a dime, or even a foreign coin, making it unique. Broad strikes that show the design stretching unnaturally because the collar failed during minting. Clipped planchets, where the coin is missing part of its round edge due to a cutting mistake. And these kinds of features instantly make a coin skyrocket in value. But beyond errors, it's also about condition and grade, because a 1996 D penny in mint state condition graded MS67 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC become so rare that collectors would pay astronomical sums just to own one pristine example. And when you combine these two factors, rarity from errors and rarity from condition, you create the perfect storm for a coin to achieve legendary status in the market. And that's exactly what happened with this particular 1996 D cent. It became a trophy coin, one that collectors absolutely dream of owning because they know that only a handful exist in such exceptional form. And once word got out that one such coin had sold for $7 million, the entire coin collecting world went into frenzy with people everywhere emptying piggy banks, searching through rolls of pennies from banks, scanning through inherited coin collections, all in hopes of striking it rich. And the story becomes even more fascinating when you consider how many millions of 1996 D pennies were minted, yet only this tiny fraction with exceptional traits managed to survive, which makes them like hidden needles in an enormous haystack. And that sense of possibility, that idea that you might hold one of these rare treasures in your hand without knowing it, is what excites collectors and casual people alike, because it transforms everyday change into a thrilling treasure hunt. Now imagine you're at a flea market or garage sale, and you see a small pile of old pennies being sold for almost nothing, and among them you find a shiny 1996 D with doubling on the date or a flawless mint state surface. You might just be holding something worth millions, and that story alone has inspired countless treasure hunts across America. And the reason behind such high values is also tied to the psychology of collecting, because people who have everything else want to own something no one else can, a piece of history that combines rarity, beauty, and a thrilling story. And wealthy collectors at major auctions compete fiercely for these coins, each bidding higher and higher, not just for the value of the metal or design, but for the prestige of ownership. And that's why 1 cent can leap to $7 million in value, because at that level it's not about face value, but about rarity and prestige. And the 1996 D penny has cemented itself in numismatic history as one of the greatest examples of how a small object can command unimaginable prices. And this story is not just about one coin, but about keeping your eyes open to possibilities, because any coin in your pocket could be hiding rare errors that collectors would pay thousands or millions for, from double dies to off-metal strikes to unique minting quirks. So the next time you see a penny, don't just dismiss it as small change. Study it carefully, check the date, check the mint mark, examine the design under magnification, and you might just uncover something extraordinary. Because treasure often hides in plain sight, and the 1996 D penny worth $7 million proves it. So if you enjoyed this journey into the unbelievable world of coin collecting and the fascinating story of how a 1 cent piece turned into multi-million-dollar history, then make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because we have many more incredible stories like this coming your way. And who knows, maybe the next great discovery could be in your hands right now, and the next headline-breaking treasure might just be the coin sitting in your pocket. 1 cent 1996 D USA. Coin and face value is $7 million worth, big money in history. Next, 2013 D Lincoln penny. Get ready, because what I'm about to share with you will absolutely blow your mind and could change the way you look at pocket change forever, because today we are diving into the story of a simple 1 cent 2013 D USA coin that has a face value of just a single penny, yet has stunned the numismatic world by reaching a jaw-dropping valuation of $4 million in history. And the reasons behind this astronomical figure are nothing short of fascinating, as collectors and experts alike continue to study the possible minting errors, anomalies, and historical circumstances that elevate ordinary coins into legendary rarities worth life-changing fortunes. So let's peel back the layers of this incredible journey that begins in 2013 at the Denver Mint, where billions of Lincoln cents were struck under tight schedules and immense demand, yet hidden among the mass-produced coins a few slipped through, carrying features so unusual, so distinct, and so difficult to replicate that they have transformed a humble cent into one of the most valuable treasures in the entire world of numismatics, because every serious collector knows that errors like double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, wrong planchets, and missing elements can elevate a coin's worth into the millions. But the 2013 D cent is unique in that multiple layers of rarity intersect on a single coin, making it almost mythical in value, as we consider factors such as die deterioration during production, possible transitional metal compositions, and striking misalignments that might have created a visually stunning yet extremely scarce version of this penny. And what makes it even more captivating is that the Denver Mint has a long history of producing coins with subtle yet collectible imperfections that over time gain legendary reputations when discovered by sharp-eyed collectors searching through circulation. So imagine the thrill of someone finding one of these ultra-rare 2013 D cents in their loose change or tucked away in a jar, forgotten for years, only to learn that it could fetch millions at auction, because the allure of coins like this goes beyond just the error itself and extends into the story of human discovery, perseverance, and the never-ending quest for hidden treasure in everyday objects. And when word spread in collector circles that a verified example of a 2013 D cent with extraordinary errors had reached $4 million in auction sales, the market went into a frenzy, with thousands of enthusiasts double-checking their stashes, magnifying every 2013 coin they owned, and speculating on just how many of these holy grail pennies might still exist undiscovered in circulation, which only fuels the demand further because scarcity drives value. And when the number of surviving specimens is limited to just a handful, or even a single coin, the price skyrockets to levels once thought impossible for a denomination as small as 1 cent. And what's even more interesting is that coins like this do not merely hold financial value, but also historical and cultural significance, as they become symbols of minting history, technological quirks, and the unpredictable nature of human error that can create masterpieces out of mistakes. And while experts debate whether the coin was struck on a unique experimental planchet or displays dramatic doubling on both obverse and reverse, or perhaps showcases a once-in-a-lifetime die clash, what remains undeniable is that the market has spoken and collectors are willing to bid to the millions to own this shining piece of history, because a 2013 D cent valued at $4 million challenges the perception of what money really is, turning a common object into an artifact of immense prestige and desirability. And in this digital age where news spreads fast, stories of such coins going viral are not surprising, because the idea of a penny worth millions sparks the imagination of millions of people around the world who rush to check their own coins, creating a global hunt for hidden fortune in pockets, jars, and piggy banks everywhere. And that is exactly how these stories become cultural phenomena that keep the passion for coin collecting alive for new generations, as every person who hears about a 2013 D cent worth millions can't resist the urge to look at their change a little differently with renewed excitement, because after all, the dream of turning 1 cent into $4 million is a dream that anyone can chase. And while the odds are slim, the possibility is real and proven by the documented cases where rare errors and varieties have sold at staggering auction prices. And this brings us to the broader perspective that coins like the 2013 D cent are more than currency. They are time capsules of history that capture the economic, political, and technological moments of their minting era, with every strike telling a story of human ambition and imperfection. And when those imperfections align in a way that is unique, they create treasures that transcend their intended purpose as mere money, becoming works of art and heritage that people fight to own at any cost. So, as the legend of the 2013 D cent continues to grow with whispers of undiscovered specimens and speculation about hidden hoards, the excitement only deepens, drawing more eyes into the world of numismatics and fueling record-breaking auctions that cement its place in history as one of the most astonishing examples of small change transformed into massive wealth. And if you've made it this far, you now understand why collectors are obsessed with this coin and why it has captivated millions with its unbelievable journey from a humble Denver Mint penny to a multi-million-dollar treasure. And that's why you should like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned, because the next great discovery could be hiding right in your pocket. Change ending .1 cent 2013 USA coin and face value is $4 million worth. Big money in history. Next, 1994 Lincoln penny. Get ready, because what I'm about to share with you will completely change the way you look at the smallest denomination in your pocket change, as today we dive deep into the astonishing story of the 1994 USA 1 cent coin. A coin that on its face might look like any ordinary penny, but in the world of collectors and rare coin enthusiasts has skyrocketed in fame and value, reaching an unbelievable face value of $3 million, making it one of the most fascinating pieces of history ever to exist. And this is why so many people are now searching through their jars, wallets, and drawers, hoping they might be holding onto a fortune without even realizing it, because the 1994 penny has become one of the most talked about coins in history, and its journey from a simple minting to a life-changing treasure is filled with mystery, rarity, rare details, and an incredible collector demand that no one could have predicted when it was first produced in Philadelphia and Denver mints back in the early 90s. When the U.S. Mint was going through design consistency phases, while still occasionally producing error coins that would later become legendary, and the 1994 penny is one of those coins that turned into a million-dollar conversation, not because of its basic copper-plated zinc composition, but because of the few rare variations and minting anomalies that exist, which has set the coin world on fire as collectors scramble to identify which versions of this coin might command staggering prices at auction houses, where bids climb rapidly due to scarcity and demand. So imagine for a moment holding an everyday cent that could pay off houses, cars, and set up future generations. And this is the magic that surrounds the 1994 penny, as error types such as double die obverse, where Lincoln's features appear slightly doubled, off-center strikes where the design is shifted creating partial blank spaces, broad strikes that expand the coin beyond normal rims, and transitional planchet errors where a wrong metal composition was used, all contribute to making certain specimens of this year unique. And when you combine that uniqueness with the immense interest in U.S. coinage history, you suddenly have a recipe for sky-high value and serious attention from investors, collectors, and even media outlets that love to spotlight coins turning into multi-million-dollar headlines. So let's peel back the layers of how a 1994 penny could possibly be worth $3 million, because at first glance you may think that's impossible, since billions were minted that year and most are still circulating for face value, yet only a handful of error-filled, high-grade, and perfectly preserved coins exist, which transforms them into museum-quality rarities. And when professional grading services like PCGS or NGC certify these coins with top population status or unique labels indicating special errors, then suddenly the coin jumps from cents to millions in perceived and market value. And think about the psychology of collecting, where scarcity drives desire. So when you tell a room full of coin lovers that only a few 1994 cents exist with specific doubled features or struck on copper planchets left over from 1982 transition periods, then immediately demand outpaces supply and collectors battle to own that rarest of the rare, driving up the final price into the millions. And the 1994 penny has all the ingredients of a legendary collectible, because it blends historical significance, error mystery, modern minting quirks, and the thrill of discovery, which means every time someone empties their pocket change there is a whisper of hope that they too might stumble across a hidden fortune. So stories have surfaced about individuals finding old rolls of pennies in bank vaults, coin jars, or inherited collections, only to realize later that one coin stood out under a magnifying glass, and when submitted for grading it came back with a label describing a mint error or condition rarity, and suddenly that coin went from worth 1 cent to millions, making headlines in the coin community. and sparking even more excitement across social media platforms where people love to share tales of hidden treasures lurking in plain sight. And the 1994 penny sits perfectly at the crossroads of possibility and fortune, because the likelihood of finding one may be small, but the reward is beyond imagination, as it teaches us that money is not just about commerce but about history, mystery, and the stories each coin carries within its design, from Lincoln's portrait to the memorial reverse. And even though billions of pennies pass through hands every day, most people never take a second glance, yet coin hunters know better, because they know that the next life-changing discovery could be sitting right under their nose. And it is exactly this mixture of rarity and chance that makes the 1994 penny such an electrifying topic for viral videos, trending posts, and worldwide fascination, since the more people learn about it, the more they are compelled to check their own coins, fueling a viral hunt across the globe. And as auctions continue to showcase eye-popping results for unique specimens, the legend of the 1994 USA penny grows stronger, making it not just a coin, but a symbol of hidden fortune waiting to be unlocked. So whether you are a lifelong collector or just someone curious about what treasures may be sitting in everyday change, this story proves that anything is possible, and that sometimes the smallest things carry the biggest surprises. And if you're enjoying this incredible journey through coin history, make sure to like and subscribe, because the next story we share could be about the coin hiding right in your pocket, and you won't want to miss it, because the ending point of this amazing viral story is none other than the 1-cent 1994 USA coin, and face value is $3 million worth, big money in history. Last 1983 Lincoln penny. The ordinary pocket change can sometimes transform into life-changing treasures, and today we are diving into the unbelievable story of the 1983 1-cent coin that, due to its extraordinary minting errors, unique mistakes, and historical significance, has shocked the numismatic community and collectors worldwide by reaching an astonishing value of $4 million. And what makes this tale even more fascinating is that this is not some ancient relic from centuries past locked away in a museum, but rather a modern coin minted in 1983 at the Denver Mint, which means it still hides in plain sight among everyday change, waiting to be discovered by someone who takes the time to look closely. And the fact that such a tiny piece of copper-plated zinc can command such an astronomical value is a testament to the power of rarity, human error, and the intense demand that drives the coin collecting market. So let's break down the story and understand what exactly makes the 1983 penny so incredibly valuable, because at first glance it looks just like the billions of other pennies minted that year, but upon closer inspection, specialists have uncovered errors and anomalies that separate this coin from the rest. And these errors range from being struck on the wrong planchet, such as leftover copper planchets from before the 1982 transition, when the U.S. Mint shifted from 95% copper to copper-plated zinc due to rising metal costs, to dramatic double-die varieties, where the lettering or date appears clearly doubled due to a misalignment in the hubbing process, to off-center strikes, die cracks, and even instances where the coin's weight and composition don't match what was officially issued. And each of these mistakes tells a story of how something slipped through the careful systems of the mint and entered circulation to later become a legendary prize. And the 1983 penny is special because not only was 1983 the first full year of zinc cents, but also a time when the mint was still perfecting its transition from copper, meaning mistakes were more likely to occur, and collectors today prize these transitional errors more than almost anything else in modern numismatics, because they serve as physical evidence of a pivotal moment in U.S. coinage history. And while a normal 1983 penny is worth just 1 cent, a rare error coin from this series has been authenticated and sold for mind-blowing amounts, reaching into the millions, and one particular specimen drew global attention when it sold for $4 million, making it one of the most valuable modern pennies in existence. And this isn't just about the money, it's about the thrill of discovery, because think about how many 1983 pennies are still sitting in jars, drawers, piggy banks, or coin rolls completely unnoticed by their owners, who may have no idea they could be holding one of the rarest treasures of American currency, and that possibility is what keeps treasure hunters and collectors motivated to examine every coin they find, and to appreciate the tiny details that separate ordinary change from extraordinary fortune. And part of what makes this coin worth $4 million is the sheer rarity, since only a handful of these error pennies have been verified to exist, and demand for them far outstrips supply, which drives prices through the roof at auctions where wealthy collectors compete for the chance to own a piece of history. And when one finally appears on the market, it becomes headline news, spreading across the internet and igniting a frenzy of searches as people everywhere rush to check their own 1983 pennies for possible errors, hoping lightning will strike in their favor. And another key factor in its value is condition, because high-grade examples preserved with minimal wear command exponentially higher prices than those that circulated heavily. And when one combines rarity, error type, historical context, and pristine condition, the result is a coin that transforms from pocket change into a multimillion-dollar artifact. And stories of these coins inspire millions of people to look at their money differently, realizing that even something as common as a penny can hold secrets and value beyond imagination. And this sense of possibility is why the legend of the 1983 penny has grown year after year, spreading on social media, YouTube, and among collectors' circles, where it has become one of the most talked about coins in modern history. And the errors themselves are fascinating to study, since doubled dies reveal the intricacies of the minting process, showing how a small misalignment can create bold doubled images in the words Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, or the date 1983, making the coin visually stunning and instantly recognizable to trained eyes, while transitional errors struck on copper planchets instead of zinc stand out by weight and composition, reminding us of the very moment when the U.S. Mint shifted its practices forever. And then there are dramatic off-center strikes, where parts of the design are missing or shifted, creating a bizarre look that instantly appeals to collectors who crave uniqueness. And let's not forget die cracks and cuds, which give the coin scars, and raised metal lines that tell the story of stress within the minting machinery, making every flawed coin a fingerprint of history. And it is this combination of rarity, uniqueness, history, and desirability that catapults the 1983 penny to legendary status. And it doesn't stop there, because as more collectors learn about it, the demand only increases, pushing prices even higher and making the hunt even more competitive. And this cycle of discovery, fascination, and skyrocketing value is what keeps the world of coin collecting alive and exciting, because at its heart it is not just about money, but about the thrill of finding a treasure where no one expected it, and holding in your hand a piece of history that tells a story of human error, technological transition, and enduring value. And the 1983 penny worth $4 million is perhaps the perfect example of this magic encapsulated in a single coin. And it should serve as a reminder to everyone watching to never overlook even the smallest details in life, because sometimes what seems ordinary may actually be extraordinary, waiting to be noticed. And if you've ever wondered how a 1-cent coin could turn into a fortune, now you know the incredible journey of the 1983 penny, and why collectors around the world dream of finding one. And as the legend continues to grow, who knows how much higher its value might climb in the future as more people enter the hobby, demand increases, and the supply remains virtually fixed, ensuring that this coin remains one of the ultimate prizes in all of numismatics. And so the next time you come across a 1983 penny, take a moment to look closely, because you might just be holding the key to an unbelievable fortune. And that thought alone is enough to keep millions of people checking their change every day, driven by hope, curiosity, and the possibility of discovery. And in the end, this is what makes the world of rare coins so thrilling, and why stories like this one deserve to be shared far and wide, because they inspire, they educate, and they ignite the treasure hunting spirit in all of us. So keep looking, keep learning, And keep believing, because the next $1 million discovery might be sitting in your pocket right now waiting for you to notice it, in the form of a 1983 1-cent coin with errors and mistakes so rare and so valuable that it has achieved a face value of $4 million worth big money in history.